Frankenstein, the iconic dead man built from separate body parts, known with a stitch across his forehead and a nail through his neck, is infamous for being the impossible scientific monster. But many don't know, Frankenstein wasn't the name of the monster. It was the name of the scientist who created him, Victor Frankenstein. The scientist at the end of the novel was discovered to be the true monster. Meanwhile, the famous Skull was born with a newborn's mind. Innocent, curious, and sensitive, he's essentially scapegoated as the villain, directly paralleling the smartphone. The smartphone, much like the creature, was pinpointed as the reason why there is a current surge in the youth mental health illness. We are pointing fingers at the smartphone, the creation, to escape our own responsibility as negligent creators of the crisis. That Frankenstein isn't the smartphone, but instead the developmentally toxic, high-stakes model of the American high school system and the commercialization of mass media, using self-doubt to its profit that drove youth into a mental health spiral. And although many are prone to believe it was the smartphone who started it, the problems are older than the iPhone. Yes, smartphones distract us and peel us away from reality at times. But it did not create the widespread issues. It merely amplified the sound of the failures we, as a society, turned a blind eye to. The villains are the failures of the high school model and the commercialization of self-doubt. The institutional failure of the high school model stemmed from the 1893 Committees of 10 report, a document that created the blueprint for the modern American high school curriculum. This paper laid the groundwork for the factory model. It was based off the needs of factories, production, and manufacturing during the 1900s, directing school into a training course for submissive industrial workers, not the creative minds needed today. Along with that, factories take away independence and load huge pressure. When the students lack autonomy and are met with high-stake testing, it creates an increase in stress and anxiety, hurting academic performances and overall mental health. It throws the youth into a snake pit they were never ready to fight. It's no surprise that the symptoms of low student autonomy and rocket high pressure are directly linked with the symptoms of mental illnesses. On the other hand, mental health illness is caused by another factor preceding the smartphone: mass media models. Across the 1900s, mass media and celebrity culture established unattainable ideals of beauty, success, and lifestyle to drive consumer spending. It taught generations that you are not enough unless you buy product X or achieve standard Y. Studies in the late 1980s showcased unhealthy high percentages of young children and adolescents scoring in the anorexic range on the Children's Eating Attitude Test, essentially showcasing that the commercialization stressors were way before the iPhone. That high-pressure school model forces students to seek validation. And where do they go to seek this validation? The commercialized digital world. They go to the mass media models. Influenced by destructive and manipulative tactics, children go here in hopes of finding comfort, yet are met again with harmful psychological demands. Now, instead of thinking banning cell phones is the correct way to help our youth, who every day are struggling with their mental health, maybe we can reflect upon ourselves. What have we, as a society, as people, as a person, have done to push the future into a spiral? And finally, how can we fix it?